Hello guys and gals, welcome to a new tutorial. Before we begin, I just want to say apologies for it being a week since I've uploaded my last one. I got sick last weekend. I'm not going to go into details, but I was stuck in bed for a few days. It wasn't pretty, and I just didn't feel up to doing any work, so I gave myself some time for some R&R and just took some time off. Back now, feeling all sprite again, so yeah, we can do some work together. So in this tutorial, we're going to be covering kind of like an RPG concept almost. So like a home teleport system, like a waypoint system. So you would imagine you have multiple different villages, and each one has its own. I'm just going to call them waystones. I think that's a thing in Fable, maybe, or a different game. Somewhere it's got like a waystone, and we're going to have our character be able to select a waystone by standing on it and making that his current home teleport, and then having a button to head to that place. So yeah, let's begin. Now the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to set up the stones. We're going to right click blueprint class, make this an actor, and we're going to call this Waypoint. I'll just call BP. We'll open this up, and the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to give this a static mesh, and the mesh I'm going to choose is probably going to be just a basic cylinder, like so. I'll shrink this down. I'll quickly compile this so I can see this in world space. So I want this to be rather large, and as you can tell, it's not. So we'll head back into it and just scale up. There we are. That'll probably be big enough. Yeah, that's plenty large enough now. Huzzah! So we are happy with that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head back into it, and we're going to select the static mesh and then add a box collision to that. And the reason we're doing that is so that we'll just drag it on, it didn't do it anyway. Drag the box onto the static mesh to keep that parented. We'll drag this out to a nice area that we can say this is where the character will activate it. So there we are. Raise this up just a little bit. Excuse me. Already started coughing. Look at this. Been back like what, 2 minutes, if that, and already blowing your guys' ears off. Right. So we're gonna get rid of all this real quick. We don't want any of that. I'll build this if we need it. So we have our little stone. We'll call that our stone, and we have a box. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to say on the box, add event, on begin overlap, other actor, we're going to cast to the third person character. So that's the character I'm using. This will work with any character, just make sure that you cast to the correct one. So we'll say enable input. Right click, get player controller. There we are, we'll plug this in, like so. We will right click box again, add event on end overlap, and we're going to do this same thing. So if it's the third person character, what we will do is we will disable input. There we are. Yay! Now what we're going to do is we're going to say keyboard Y. I'm using Y. You can literally use any key that you want. I'm going to be using T and Y for this tutorial just because they're next to each other and I'll be able to remember them. So Y, we will cast to third person character. We want to get player character, which will get the player character from the game mode. So this should cast correctly, and it does. Cool. And then what we'll do is we'll leave that as it is. We'll head into the third person character, and then we're going to add a variable, and the variable is going to be a vector. We're going to call this In fact, we don't even need this to be a vector. What we're going to do is we're going to change this to, we're going to search for, what do we call it, waypoint, waypoint BP, reference, excuse me. We will eyeball this, so, not eyeball it, we're going to make it public by clicking the little eyeball. What we're going to call this is going to be waypoint ref. We'll compile that. We'll minimize that down and we'll head back into the waypoint blueprint. Or we would if it decided it wanted to open the window. There we are. So as third person character, set waypoint ref get, so we'll just say self, get reference to self, and that should be able to plug that in there because they are the same thing. Plug this in here. So there we are. Compile that. And now inside the third person character we will say keyboard T, and then what we will do is we will get the waypoint ref, say, what do we want to say? We want to say get actor location. So we want to get the actor location of the waypoint ref, and on press T we want to set actor location of self to where the reference is. We'll compile this, and now if we press play, we head onto here and we press Y, we should now have that as our reference. If we press T, we teleport back to it. Now, as you can see, my character's stuck inside. Now the reason being is because this is the location of our character, but this is the location of the waypoint. So here you can see that this pivot is the actual location, and this character pivot is the location of the character. So you can see here that this is at 227, this is at 133. So my maths is not good, so I shall quickly open up a calculator. I know some of you will be able to do that in your heads, but you know, hugely dyslexic, I really struggle with numbers. Sometimes. But that's why we've got calculators, right? 94! The answer is 94! Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the third person character. We are going to break the vector from the actor location here. Then we are going to make vector. We'll plug the X in because the X is fine. We will plug the Y in because the Y is fine. With the Z, we want to plus, we want to float plus float our 90 whatever it was. I've already forgotten, 94. So we will plus 94 and then plug that into the location instead. And now if we go in and I just press Y on here and run over here and press T. Oh, we've gone into a really weird place. Oh, now we've got errors. What is this? Access none. Okay, so the reason we've accessed none just now is because the overlap didn't actually begin. We were already overlapping by default. We'll press T. There we go. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to, let's see. We will add a check. So we were going to variable has waypoint. We will branch on T, branch on T, plug this into the condition, so it has waypoints in the condition. By default this will be no, and then inside of here in the waypoint what we're going to do is we're going to say on begin overlap as third person character set has waypoint. Oops. To yes. There we are. So now we can't teleport without a waypoint. I'm hitting the button, we're no longer going to teleport, but if we go over to here and we set this by pressing Y, we can now teleport to this. And we don't get any errors. So let's just make sure that we can test this properly. We can drag this one out, and we'll drag another one over here. And we'll say go to this one. We'll press Y. We'll head up here and we'll teleport to this one. Now we go here and we'll press Y to gain that one. We teleport to this one. And Y. And teleport to this one. Now, we can go ahead and we can just make these a little bit more custom, just so that you know what these are doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new variable, and this is going to be a string. We're going to call this we're just going to call this waypoint name. Waypoint name. We'll compile this, and we will just tick this little eyeball to make this public, and then what we'll do is we will print string after we press the Y button. We'll plug this in, so the waypoint name is going to be printed. We'll compile that, and now we can select each of these, and because we've made this public, we have this waypoint name here, and we can say, I don't know, start village. We'll call this one maybe, I don't know, King's Castle, and this one, I don't know, Evil Lake. Okay, and now if we were to select one, you can see we get this little print up in the corner that's letting us know that we're actually getting the right thing, and then we can just teleport back to whichever one. So I haven't set that one, now I have, and we can run over here, boop, teleport back, and that's how we can set up like a multi-gate teleport system based on waypoints. Obviously you can add a little bit of a delay before the guy actually teleports. You can give him a little animation, a little visual effect if you want to, but for the purposes of the actual waypoint, these are pretty much done. These are as lovely as we need them to be, and single blueprint, just customize where you want them, what you need. We could add a bit of a material to these so that they could have different colors and whatnot. I've got tutorials on that kind of thing if you want to do that, so go ahead and use these as a starting point for those. But there we have it. That's a nice waypoint and home teleport system. I say home teleport, it's not really a home, that's the king's castle. You are not the king. You are not the king. No. Anyway, there we are. We are finished. Once again, guys, sorry that it's been a while. I've been unwell, and I'm not about to sit at the computer while I'm sick because it's just not great. I like to heal before I move past things. As usual, the description will contain my Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. Feel free to check those things out, and I will see you guys next time.